Okay, here we go. Our final speaker this evening, we will be hearing from the second of our two alumni speakers, Babs DeLay. I had the pleasure of meeting Babs DeLay when I was starting the V-Day campaign here at Westminster nearly 10 years ago, which it doesn't seem that long. But I remember being incredibly intimidated by this larger-than-life person that I knew I was going to have to work with to make the vagina monologues come to life. And as soon as I met her, I realized that she is one of the most accepting and welcoming people I've ever met. And she taught me that it's okay to be who I am and that I need to embrace that. And it's a very powerful lesson to learn at 19 years old. A little more about her besides that is she owns her own real estate firm, you might have heard of it, Urban Utah Home and Estates, and is currently the chair of the Salt Lake Downtown Merchants Association. Babs has also voted one of the most admired women in Utah by the Salt Lake Tribune and has received awards for outstanding achievement in business, outstanding advocacy, and community work in ending sexual violence. You may also know Babs from the Vagina Monologues, as initially she replaced Roma Downey in the original monologues and has been producing and starring in them for almost 2 decades. Talking to us today about options when life unloads its lemons on us, please welcome Babs DeLay.
Thank you all for coming this evening. I am very honored to be here, and I feel like a professor in residence every, February when we do the Vagina Monologues. And just coming back to Westminster every year is a wonderful experience, and working with different people in different ways. And tonight I learned all sorts of things. Did you write them down? I have to. Pubertal hormones. Abstinence beer. Abstinence porn. This is awesome. My talk this evening is pretty much about creating my own private Idaho, because people say, how do you tick? How did you get where you are? And I live in a very perfect bubble, as I think we all do. My perfect bubble, my reality, I got dropped into Utah, a state I had never heard of, when I was 15 years old in a very tiny town called Mount Pleasant, Utah. In a very small high school of 150 students, and my graduating class was about 50 people, and it's located in a beautiful valley, Utah Valley, Sanpete County. And being an artist, it was wonderful. I could do drawings and watercolors, and I had a fabulous pottery teacher, and I could just escape from my demons in pottery, and that was terrific. I got accepted to college and came up to the University of Utah, and my perfect bubble got shattered when I went from classes of 8 people to classes of 200 taking biology, when I'd sit in a classroom and there would be a screen and people would be throwing spit wads at the screen. I couldn't handle that very well, and luckily I had a friend that was going to Westminster College and said, come over here, the classes are smaller. So I had no idea. I was pre-med, and when I was at the University of Utah, my goal was to be, I had extremely high math scores, my goal was to be a gynecologist. So at Westminster, I was a little lost as to where I could go on my journey, what I could major in, what I could do. And there was a wonderful gentleman, not Charlie, my ex-husband, but perpetually always my husband. No, we weren't really married. We were just always husband and wife in a perpetual play. ran into a wonderful man whose painting is out there, and Charlie's name is in that painting, my name's in that painting. Hello? He was part of the Westminster culture, Jay Lee's, and what he would do is he just had this radar for lost people, and he would go up to you and say, come be in the theater, and you'd say, I'm not a thespian, really I'm not. And he'd say, that's okay, come help put on makeup, come help paint something. And he rallied this huge group around him that were so grateful to have a friend, a father, a mentor, a teacher, and he changed many lives, many, many lives that way. And we were able to calm down whatever part of that brain is that you were talking about, your hippopotamus or what have you, your pubescent thing, what have you, could focus on things. And so my focus was, we had some amazing professors back then. This was pre-internet, mind you. You had to be very present all the time. And we had this degree, I don't know if we have this anymore, it's called behavioral science. It was 4 degrees in one. And so I seemed to float that way because of the professors there with an art major. And my goal was to go out and help cure the world. And so I was working in the jail, doing research for the Salt Lake City Jail for the University of Florida through a grant, and working in the jail at nights for a program they created called the Get Out on Your Own Recognizance or Your Promise to Appear back then. And also working in bars and working as a waitress and anything I could do to get through school and pay the bills. Well, when I got out of school with my graduation, I had really high goals, and so here it goes. Dear Diary, I have a job interview, my very first interview as a graduate. I went to, I'll name it, Head Start, and I wanted to be in charge of Head Start. And I was full of spit and cum and vinegar and happiness and rainbows. Nobody else wanted the damn job. It was a very hard job. It didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to take that job and send it to the next dimension for kids, for underprivileged kids. Got to the final interview, and there were 20 people sitting in the room, and it was pretty much all the parents, and this was in the 1970s, and things were a little different back then, and they said, we really like you. We'd like you as an applicant. Anything, tell us about your family, anything about you. And I told them that I was a lesbian, that I was gay. Gay, gay, gay. Gay, gay, and capital G, gay. And because of that, I didn't get the job. And that really astounded me. Because in my perfect bubble, in my cartoon mind, no one is violent, no one discriminates in a bad, bad way. Everybody holds hands and sings Kumbaya. Sort of. Anywho. So, I had to figure out something else. Dear Diary. Damn it. I can't find a full-time job, so I'm going to continue to work in the bars, in the jail, and I also became a DJ in bars, and soon got on public radio, and for 28 years had the longest-running women's radio program in the United States. It was a lot of fun, and I have 3,000 albums by women. It was mostly music, and it was highly educational for me, but I still didn't have a job. So, Dear Diary, damn it. I'll never get a job, so I went back to school. I came back to Westminster, my core, my base, and said, how am I going to get a job? Because behavioral science ain't going to do it, and I'm never going to get paid any money doing this job, behavioral science, working in any kind of community service out there. I would like to make money. Went back to school, and I wrote my own degree. I don't know if you can do that now. It was called Business Communications, because we didn't have a marketing program. And, well, that worked very, very well. Dear Diary. Oh! Don't worry, they're not really lemons. I got my first job interview in my new career. And PR director for United Way. That's what I was hired to do, and be the PR director for 50 nonprofit agencies. And I was very good at it. And one day, the head of United Way at that time called me into the job and said, "You're fired." I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you're gay. Gay, 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 gay." There you go again. Dear diary. I'm gay. Yes, I am. I'm gay. I really am. 1984, I couldn't find a job again. I created my own job. I created the precursor to Network Magazine. I was running something called the Rocky Mountain Woman that I invented to cover women's issues, and was doing that happily, was also working in a bar. And then a very big thing happened one night when I was watching the news. There was someone on the television saying that they were suing Time Life magazine for $10 million for libel because they had pointed them out that they were a lesbian, they were a coach, and they had been fixing their scores of their students to get them to pass. I called my friends that worked at the bar and said, "Isn't that the person that hung out at the bar all summer long, our women's bar?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Should they be suing for this money denying that they're a lesbian?" They said, "No, that doesn't sound right." 10 of us from the bar got together. No one could come out because they would lose their job. If they came out and said, "Well, I think that's wrong," they would lose their job at the fuel company. They would lose their job at the schools. The only person that didn't have a job was, guess who flew within 24 hours to North Carolina, paid for by Time Life magazine? How do we contact them? 1-800-SUBSCRIBE NOW. I flew into federal court. They walked in, and there were 2 women who were accusing them of this problem and this $10 million they wanted. And the judge said, "Hold it. We don't know who this person is," so immediately I had to go through an FBI check, and then got up on the witness stand. And in my perfect bubble, the truth is the truth. And they said, "How do you know this person?" I said, "I was the DJ at the bar. Here's the record that they were members of the bar," which had been given to me by one of the bar employees. Those women were convicted of lying in federal court and went to prison for a few years. When I returned to my perfect world in Salt Lake City in 1984, I was then, castrated from the gay community, to coin a term. I was not allowed to go to any bars. If gays saw me in the stores, they would scream at me. I had death threats. I had the FBI have to follow me for a year. So, not only did I have people hating me everywhere for telling the truth, I had no employment. Great. A friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you go into real estate?" I went, "Oh, that's a good idea. I could be my own boss." 1984, I took the test, and that's all I've ever done since. 14 hours a day, 3 days off, 14 days on, 3 days off, 14 days on. I'm self-employed. That's pretty amazing. So what have I learned from all of this? I learned that I have to stay in my cartoon mind because I'm the only one that can get me through all of this. I have friends, but when it comes down to it, it's really me that's going to push forward and keep the train on the track. Another thing that I would impart with you is always keep reading and always keep learning. It will keep you alive, and it will keep you in your cartoon mind. In real estate, we only do 5 things over and over every day. And if you do those 5 things over and over every day, you will make a lot of money in real estate. Unfortunately, only 10% of the real estate agents out there understand the 5 things a day and do the 5 things a day. There are things in your life that you can repeat every single day and make money and make success. And it doesn't have to translate to money. It can translate to so many other things. Find your core, and Nina could help you. I'm pretty sure of that. Forgive. Forgive yourself first, and forgive others. Laugh a lot. I'm showing property yesterday, and there's a 5-year-old boy, the mom and the dad, and the baby in arms. And we're in a vacant house, and the child is running, the 5-year-old is running through the house in a rec room, and he's holding something in his hand. And I said, thinking to myself, he's got a pen, he's going to hurt himself. I said, what is that? And she goes, it's an anal thermometer. I said, not much, and kind of scratched my head. I said, really, why? And she said, he thinks it's a walkie-talkie. Okay, had to post that on the Facebook. Another sage wisdom of advice, have a boozy beverage often. In my old age, I've learned to really appreciate tawny port. But really, when life gives you lemons, you're supposed to make lemonade. I prefer to plant an orchard, to market the product, to do it right, and to make a shite load of money. Thank you very much.